Welcome everyone to Automate User Research with AI. I'm Sarah Chang from Cerebras, and I'm so excited to be joined by Lance Martin from LangChain today.
Thanks, Sarah. Today we're going to walk through how to build an AI-powered user research system that can automatically generate user personas, conduct interviews, and synthesize product feedback in under 60 seconds.
This isn't just about automating surveys or forms. We're building a sophisticated AI research system that can generate end-to-end simulated interviews using LangGraph workflows. By the end of this workshop, you'll have your very own working user research system that can compress weeks of work into minutes.
We have a complete code notebook for you to follow along with, and you'll be able to keep experimenting and building even after today's workshop's over.
Before we get started, let's go over what you'll get out of this workshop. Free API credits for Cerebras, a complete quick start guide to build apps with Cerebras, LangChain, and LangGraph, and your very own functional AI user research system that you can customize. Before we dive in, please make sure you have the notebook open. If you haven't already, go ahead and click on the collab link we shared.
You can scan the QR code on the screen to access the starter code. Let's make sure that everyone has this open before we continue. So Sarah, taking a step back, what exactly is user research?
User research is a systematic process of gathering and analyzing information about your target audience. The goal is learning user behaviors and needs, validating product ideas, and making better product decisions. Everyone from startups to big companies like Google, Netflix, or Dropbox all have teams that conduct user research before launching a new feature or creating a product roadmap. It's something that all companies invest heavily in because it's essential for building products people actually want. It also takes an extremely long amount of time. So now let me walk you through how this is traditionally done. We always start with a user question. Then for each user, you create interview questions. This takes time to get right because you need open-ended questions that actually get useful insights. Bad questions lead to bad data. You need questions that reveal motivations, not just surface-level preferences.
That's right. Next comes recruiting participants, and this is where things get very expensive. You need to find the right people who match your target demographic. This is often the biggest bottleneck, finding qualified participants who represent your actual users.
Exactly. That's 2 to 3 weeks just to find the right people to talk to. Then you're scheduling interviews around everyone's availability. Coordinating schedules, sending reminders, dealing with no-shows is a logistical nightmare. Then conducting interviews, another 1 to 2 weeks of actual conversations, transcribing, and organizing responses. Each interview might be 30 to 60 minutes, plus transcription time, plus organizing all of that qualitative data.
And finally, analyze responses, pulling out themes, identifying patterns, writing up actionable insights. That's another week. And this is really where most research projects die. You have all this data, but turning into actual insights is a lot of hard work. And here's the complete timeline. User questions all the way through to final insights. All in all, we're looking at 6 weeks total, and that's if everything goes smoothly. This timeline really kills innovation speed. Startups really can't afford to wait 6 weeks to get user feedback.
By the time you get results, your product might have already changed, or your competitors might have moved ahead. In the era of AI-assisted coding, engineer teams can build products before PM and design teams can validate if they're a good idea to build. This 6-week research timeline is simply too long for modern organizations. And that's what's so exciting about what we're building today. What if we could automate this entire process? Instead of recruiting real people, we can create AI personas that represent your target users. AI user research creates multiple AI personas and runs hundreds of simulated interviews in minutes. We're talking about genuine AI agents that can think and respond like real users. So now, instead of scheduling interviews, we can simulate them instantly. The AI can roleplay as different types of users and give you realistic responses. Look at this. It's the same process, but every step is automated and happens in seconds, not weeks. Our system has 4 AI-powered components. We AI generate the interview question based on your research topic. Then, the AI creates diverse personas that match your target demographic. Next, the AI runs simulated interviews between the researcher and the persona. And finally, the AI analyzes all the responses to give you actionable insights.
That's right. Each step that took weeks can now take seconds, and you can iterate on research or product questions in real time. This is the magic. 6 weeks becomes 60 seconds. You can test multiple research approaches instantly and get feedback immediately. When you can test product feedback or ideas that quickly, suddenly you can iterate very quickly or instantaneously.
Now let's switch over to the code. You can access the starter code here, and we'll be walking through the notebook step by step. If you haven't already, make sure you have the starter code open. We're about to dive into the technical implementation. First, we need to install all the necessary packages. In your notebook, find the first code cell and run it. You'll see this command. Go ahead and run that cell now, click on it or press Shift-Enter, or click the play button. While that's installing, you should see some output showing the packages being downloaded. This installs Cerebras and LangGraph. First, let's talk about the brain of our operation, the LLM. For today's workshop, we're using Llama 3.370B, which is from Meta's latest family of open source AI models running on Cerebras for lightning-fast inference. Speed is always critical here, especially when we're conducting hundreds of AI interviews with multiple AI users and questions. Every millisecond counts. With Cerebras delivering over 2,500 tokens per second, we can simulate an entire research study, 10 personas, 5 questions each, plus analysis in under 60 seconds. With traditional inference, this could take upwards of 20 minutes. So with Cerebras, you could run 20 user simulations in the same time it would take you to run one with other platforms. And as a final note on Cerebras, this is the AI processor running these models, the Cerebras Wafer Scale Engine WSE3. It's a massive AI chip that delivers the fastest inference in the world. As you can see in the benchmark, we're delivering over 2,500 tokens per second with Llama 3.3, 5 times faster than the next best provider.
And the second platform we're going to be using here is LangChain and LangGraph. Today we're focused on LangGraph for workflow orchestration and LangChain for integrations, as well as structured output. We'll use LangSmith for tracing and observability. This gives us the building blocks to create complex, stateful AI systems that can handle multi-step research processes. We're going to be using 3 key LangChain features today: model abstractions, so we can easily swap different providers; standard interfaces that make our code clean and maintainable; and structured outputs to ensure that AI responses are properly formatted. These features let us focus on the research logic instead of wrestling with AI SDKs. Now, LangGraph gives you low-level components for building many types of AI applications, including agents or workflows. And we can lay out these applications in any way we want as a series of steps or nodes. Each node is just a Python function, giving you full control over the logic within each step.
Think of it like having a team of AI researchers, each with their own expertise, working together seamlessly.
We connect those nodes or steps into a workflow. We start with configuration. This just generates the personas, runs interviews in a loop, and then synthesizes results. LangGraph handles all that orchestration and state management for us.
The beauty is that each node can focus on one job really well, and LangGraph connects them intelligently. For our second step now, let's set up our LLM running on Cerebras. Our LLM is the brain of the operation. It handles question generation, persona creation, simulated responses, and analysis. This function is our interface to Cerebras, and we'll be calling this function multiple times throughout our code.
For step 3, let's talk about state. As we conduct all of these simulated interviews, we want some way to track the shared information across each of these steps and nodes. LangGraph has a state object, which we can access within each node and update once we finish running the node. So because every node can read from and update this state object, it can track questions, personas, or anything else we want over the course of this research process. Now, without proper state management, AI systems can't always maintain context across time.
Look at how the state flows through our system. Each node reads what it needs and updates what others will use. This shared state is what makes our multi-agent system coherent instead of just a bunch of disconnected AI calls. Now, look at the interview state type dict. It defines exactly what information flows through our system: research questions, personas, interview tracking, and final results. This structure keeps everything organized.
Now for our next step, we need to build our specialized agents. So each node is a specialist that performs one specific task and updates the shared state, which other nodes can then use.
This is where the magic happens. Each AI agent has a clear job and does it really well. The key insight is that nodes don't just process data, they update a shared state. This lets subsequent nodes build on the previous work. It's like a relay race where each runner hands off exactly what the next runner needs. For our workshop today, there are 4 main nodes. Each has a specific role in the research pipeline. The configuration node is our first node and is our entry point. It gets the research question from the user and generates interview questions automatically. This node will initialize our research process. It prompts the user the research topic and types of users we want to interview. It then generates a configurable number of questions about the research topic to seed our interviews. The second node is the personas node, which creates diverse user profiles with rich characteristics, different ages, backgrounds, communication styles, everything that makes interviews realistic. This is where we get the diversity that makes our research valuable. Each persona brings a different perspective.
So once we have our personas in the third node, which is our interview node, we can just conduct interviews, which is actual QA simulation. Each persona responds in character, maintaining their personality throughout. And this is really the most complex node because it's where it has to manage the conversation and flow between personas and keep them consistent. The last node is our synthesis node. It analyzes all the completed interviews and generates actionable insights. It looks for patterns, themes, and practical recommendations. This is where raw interview data becomes business intelligence.
For the next step, we need to set up our router. In our flow, 2 things can happen after an interview is completed. Our program can move on to the next persona, or if we've gone through every single interview, we can end the program. The interview router decides what happens next. Continue interviewing the next persona or move to synthesis. This is what makes the workflow intelligent and adaptive. It's simple logic, but it's what makes our system autonomous. No human intervention needed once it starts.
And now we just connect everything together, add the nodes, define the connections, set up conditional routing, look at the build interview workflow. It's surprisingly clean for such a powerful system. So LangGraph handles all the complexity for us. We just define the structure and it manages the execution.
Finally, the moment of truth, let's see it in action. We can input a question and our target persona. Watch how it generates personas with distinct personalities, conducts interviews where each persona responds differently, and synthesizes insights.
So from research question to actual insights in under a minute, that's really the power of AI automated research.
Great. Now we have a fully working AI-powered user research system, but let's keep going and make it even more robust. This part is completely optional, but here are a few ways that you can expand your code. A worthwhile expansion is to implement multi-question interviews. Instead of getting asked a series of individual questions, the agent is able to follow up and dig deeper into an interviewee's response, creating more natural conversations and uncovering deeper insights. Some of our key changes is that we've implemented enhanced state. So we've added follow-up tracking and conversation context. We've added a follow-up generator. So the AI creates contextual follow-up questions based on the responses. We've added a smart interview flow. So it decides when to follow up or move to the next question. Conversation memory, so personas remember and build on previous answers. And finally, enhanced synthesis. So analyzing the conversation patterns for deeper insights.
Another thing you can do here is use LangSmith to understand what's happening under the hood. You can look in detail at the interviews between your personas and the responses. And this is really essential for auditing quality, finding bugs, or tracking costs. Building effective AI applications often requires two central things. Look at your data, set up evaluations to test performance as you update, for example, models over time. And LangSmith is a great way to do both of these.
You can see exactly how each node performed and optimize your prompts and logic. And that's it. In less than an hour, you've built a sophisticated user research system that can generate personas, conduct hundreds of user interviews, and to synthesize actionable insights in seconds.
Remember, you've all the starter codes. Keep experimenting. Try adding your own research questions, customizing persona generation for your target demographics, or expand the interview flow with follow-up questions. You can also think about using new models as they come out and are available on Cerebras.
If your research system isn't working perfectly right now, don't worry. Sometimes it takes a few tries to get the API connection set up correctly, or you might need to refresh and run the cells again.
The most important thing is that you now understand the LangGraph architecture and have complete working code to take with you. You can adapt this for any type of user research, like product validation or market research. So happy researching.